This is Alden Zecha, and this is a recorded piece for the Head of the Charles course simulation with a target race time of 22 minutes. Good luck. This race simulation assumes that you'll be starting from a dead stop and doing the Head of the Charles course. You may want to have a video available of the course while you are doing this. We'll start with a couple of short strokes to get going at the beginning, and then a high 10, a couple of beats above your base, and then settling into it. During the piece, we'll have a couple of various tens and pieces throughout the course, as well as I'll have simulated competition boats in order to have you better visualize what the real race would look like. So when I refer to other boats, please understand that they're there purely to help motivate you and to make the race seem more real. I am not setting a specific base cadence, so you should pick your own base cadence. And your target split time for this piece should be 2 minutes and 20 seconds per 500 meters. Of course, your split time may vary slightly faster or slower, but this piece assumes an average across the entire piece of 2 minutes and 20 second splits. So when you're looking at your splits, if you're slightly below or above that, keep in mind what that means for your total performance. This is a volume check. This is a volume check. Set your volume at this level. At the beginning of the piece, I'll give you a 15-second countdown so that you can start this recording and get settled onto your erg before you actually begin the piece. You should pause this audio now and restart it when you're ready for the 15-second countdown. Pause it now. 15 seconds to go before race time. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're on. Here we go. 3 quick strokes. 1, 2, 3. Get it going now. Nice high 10 here. A couple of beats above your normal pace. Locking it on. Really making sure you're just pressing down those legs. Have a good connection to the lower back there. And that's right. Right on it now. Really pushing hard there. Getting the rate going. Getting the erg up and spinning. And really moving along. That's it. Well done. And now beginning to think about lengthening out a bit and settling into your base cadence. Really getting it going here, locking on, settling in. Think good rhythm here, nice and smooth at your cadence, driving hard, but a nice smooth cadence, really relaxing on the recovery, letting the glide happen, and then right on it at the catch and driving back. But let's make sure we've got a good relaxed slide, nothing too rushed here, making sure we're getting full extension at the catch and all the way back at the finish. That's it. Nice long strokes, really pressing down, and good relaxed recovery. There's the bridge coming up. You can see it. You've got a good line right on it, and we're pressing and going here right away. Nice smooth connection every stroke, right on it. Pressing down, locking on, making sure there's a great connection with the lower back as you cross underneath the railroad bridge now. That's it, going through the railroad bridge. And there you go. You got a straight shot right to the beach. Nice long straightaway here for a while. Good smooth strokes. Catching every time right at the beginning there, making sure that when you come up to the catch, it's nice and smooth. You're gliding right up. And then right on it to catch and go, right? No hesitation at the catch there. Keep the erg spinning right along. Nice solid catches there. Really locking on with the handle. Feeling the good connection through the arms, the lower back, and all the way to the foot stretcher as you press down every stroke. Keeping the pace here. Take a look at your split. Make sure you're not going out too hard, but that you're right on target where you want to be. Leg drive here, nice and solid there. Focus on that leg drive, really pressing it down. Get the legs down every stroke with solid press. Nice and solid, that's it. Really driving them down, really making sure we're maximizing the pressure and pulling that chain with us. Okay, we've got a nice straightaway here down the Magazine Beach line. You're pulling a nice tight course right near those buoys. The boat behind you is probably about 6 lengths back right now. That's okay. They're right there. Mark off of them. As we swing it right along here, nice and solid here. This is the rhythm part of the race, making sure that you're really locking into your rhythm, feeling smooth, nice and together, making it work all the way. Feel the connection through the lower back now, nice and solid every stroke, keeping it going there, really opening up well, locking on that lower back and driving with it, making sure the handle's coming with us every stroke as you press the legs, pulling the handle with us, and a solid stroke all the way to the finish now. All the way back, really making sure we're opening up the body and locked onto the lower back solidly. That's it. Good. Now your nice rhythm here, every stroke, really catching picking it right off at the front end, and then driving those legs down, making sure that you're bringing the seat with you, not shooting the seat, but bring the handle with you as you push down and swing on back with a nice solid opening of the back there, right? Every stroke really opening up the body together and swinging it back together. That's the way. That's it. And now we're coming up toward the turn after the end of the magazine beach. You can see the turn. You're beginning, just starting to begin that arc now. No problem with the boat behind. They're still about 6 lengths back. You can see them. You've marked them there, and they're doing pretty well. That's great. So we're starting to come around the magazine beach turn here, pulling it nice and tight there, right against that cove. As you bring it around, nice and hard there on the port side with the right arm so that it pulls you right around the turn. Not much need to do steering here because you're holding it. Boat behind you, still about 6 lengths back, but they're looking pretty strong too, so you want to be nice and on top of your game right now. That's right. Okay, now as we start to leave the turn here, we're coming up and we're lining up for the powerhouse stretch, right? You can see Riverside there off your starboard side as they're coming up toward the dock of Riverside and those big pylons, but you're far enough away, no problem. The buoys are keeping you well out of trouble from the Riverside dock. Just starting to pass the Riverside dock now, coming up to our first time marker here. And that's right onto it there. Nice and solid now. Really a nice straight runaway to the powerhouse bridges. You've got a good line. They're right there. You can see the boat behind you here trying to take a little bit of a move, trying to move up on you a little bit. No big deal. They're still about 5.5 lengths back, but let's make sure that we're keeping our pressure on, keep them back. Let's make sure that we're pressing away every stroke and swinging on back so that we keep our bodies well aligned and just moving the earth. Keep that rhythm going. Check your split. Make sure you're on target for your split time and driving forward with it right where you want to be. That's it. Nice straight shot here to the first bridge. That's right. River Street Bridge. You've got the arch lined up. No traffic issues. Boat behind you holding at 5.5 lengths now. They've taken their little 10 and you've held them off. So we're going to lock on and we're going to push them back a little bit in a second here. When we're ready to go, we're going to drive them back. So on my count, we're going to take a nice solid 10, sit ready for it, and on this one, here we go, with a 1. And swinging on back in this power 10 here, right in the power 10, count it to yourself. And count it to yourself now, making sure that we're nice and aligned here, ready to go, right on target, keeping your pace, keeping your rate with that 10, pushing them back a little bit. That's it. Opening up maybe another quarter length to half length on them, pushing them back to about 5 3/4, 6 lengths back, but they're hanging on there, and that's okay. That's good rhythm, good spacing between you and them, and good spacing here on every stroke with your oars as you push it back and go nice and solid now. That's right. In this next stretch here, as we line up the River Street Bridge and come up to it, let's really think about working on those catches now. Focus your mind on the catches, picking off each catch as we go. Reaching out and just picking off that catch with a quick lock on, not much slack in the line there in the cord or the chain as we go with a right away every stroke. And when you pick it off, you can't do it with the upper body too much. You've got to make sure that the whole body is engaged. It's the legs, it's the lower back, it's the arms, everything working together now to really drive forward. That's the way. That's the way. All right, starting to open a little bit more of a gap in the boat behind you now. They're starting to fade back a little bit here. As you come through River Street, nice and solid. Great work on the arch there. Let's line up Western Ave. Not a big change here to line up Western and right toward it. Okay, as you do that here, you're looking back maybe every now and then at your point, and you see the next boat ahead of you seems to be having a little bit of trouble here. There may be only 5 lengths ahead of you. So boat 6 lengths, 6.5 now behind you, and another boat 5 ahead of you as you move forward. Right on target. That's the way. Looking strong, feeling good about it here. Moving right along. Every stroke, it's a quick catch and a drive. And then at the finish, right through it, lined up and driving on the finish here. Okay, under the bridge now, past the Western Ave Bridge, and we're through that bridge. And we're moving ahead here. Right here, you know you've got this stretch of a couple hundred meters, several hundred meters, where it's straight, and then you begin the turn. So during this straightaway, you can see people on the bridge there. They're waving and cheering. The person behind you still holding it about 6.5 lengths back. You do a quick glance over your shoulder. Oh, you can see the person in front of you still holding there at about 4.5 lengths ahead of you, about 4.5 lengths. But that's enough distance that you can start to see their wake as you row. You can see a little bit of their turbulence that they're leaving behind. That's a good sign because that means that you're at least within contact of them and moving forward toward them. Great to see. So keep going strong here. Check that split again. How are we doing? Nice and solid. Good rhythm in this body of the race. Okay. Now we're getting a little closer to the Weeks Bridge. We're going to just start our arc, but it's a gentle start of the arc at the beginning of the turn here. So we're just starting now, a little bit of turning every stroke as we move toward the Weeks Bridge here. All right, yep, that's it. Looking well, and here we go. Now we're starting to intensify the turn here. Good hard pulling with the left arm to help bring us around here. Nothing severe yet. This is just a minor part of it, just the initial part of it, as we arc around that big sweeping part of the Weeks Bridge turn. That's the way. That's the way. Locking on, making sure that we're driving hard here. On the erg, it's nice and straight back. In the single, you'd be pulling a little bit harder on the left to arc the turn. Okay, and here we go now. As we come into Weeks Bridge, we're really going to start to bring around that turn, and you're going to hook that buoy line for a nice, sharp, choppy turn here. Remember, the turn is done with good, quick, short strokes, really powering it through every time. And we're coming around now and driving well. That's it. Now's the turn. Here we go. Bring it on hard with a turn. As we bring toward the bridge, you're passing the sharpest part of that apex turn and right into the bridge now, right under the bridge, and there you go. Nice turn. Really well done. Let's bring it around. Keep bringing it around. Remember, you've got to turn further as you come through the bridge here because we've got to be able to line up Anderson with a nice quick lineup. There we go. That's it. Leaving the Weeks Bridge behind. A lot of noise there from the crowd. It's okay. They're focused on us, and you've got a good shot at Anderson now. That's right. And right here in this short little straightaway, we're going to take a nice solid 10. Ready for it? A nice power 10. Really drive the legs down here on the power. On this one, here we go. Count them to yourself now. Nice solid 10. That's it. That's it. Locking on. And swinging on back in this power 10 here, right in the power 10, count it to yourself. And as you come off that 10, let's make sure that we're long and relaxed here. Let's not get any shorter with our strokes. Let's keep it long and relaxed here. That's right. Yep, you open up a little more distance on the crew behind, that boat behind there. Now it's 6.5, 7 lengths back to you. They didn't take the Weeks turn really well. That's okay. Good for you. Not so good for them. As you take a quick glance behind you, you can see the boat ahead of you here. They've got a gap of about 4.5 lengths, but you can mark them off their wake. That's what you're going to be seeing here. The little turbulence they're leaving behind. As you row, you can see the remnants of their puddles there that they're rowing there. So you know that they're within good contact there at about 4 lengths ahead of you now coming into Anderson. You made up a little bit of distance on that Weeks turn on them. That's great. And now you're driving hard toward Anderson. You can hear the crowd now as you approach Weld. Crowd getting a little bit louder. That's right, and they're nice and solid. And let's get back to those good catches. Let's not lose those good catches that we heard earlier. Really lock on with that solid catch. nice and quick with the catch, and moving forward every time, all right? Every time there at the catch, really locking on with the legs, the lower back, the arms, and that full body connection right into it here, every single stroke as you move ahead. Okay, now we're starting to come up toward Anderson. You've obviously got to make a little bit of a turn here under the bridge. That's okay. As we pass under Anderson, you're cranking a little bit harder with that right arm to get that turn nice and smooth. That's right, really tight against the arch. Great turn, good. As we come out of the bridge here, and we're moving well toward Newell. As we move toward Newell here, really feel it in your legs here. Really be pressing hard down in the legs, but again, making sure that you're connected in the lower back and through the lats, up all the way through the arms, so that it's nice and solid, every stroke locked on and moving the erg well, right? You're spinning that wheel well. You're kind of seeing how your splits are reacting to you. That's the way to go. That's it. Good, good. Okay. The boat ahead of you now at about 3.5 lengths. You can see that their puddles are getting a little bit closer. That should be a motivator here as we swing on by Newell, and you can hear the crowd at Newell there. That's right. They're yelling and chanting a little bit. That's terrific. Good. Yep. And you're locked on. You're lining up the big turn here. You can see the turn coming in the distance. You've still got a ways to go here as you move across Newell's dock. And now as we come up toward that 2-mile marker, you know that it's right there. It's a little bit off there in the distance, but that's okay. You can see the mile marker there right away as we come past the mile marker there, and that's 2 miles gone now, 2 miles gone. Nice and solid in your strokes, rowing well, nice, comfortable, solid strokes with our back swinging every stroke, no hesitation, really pressing the legs down and moving well and moving forward. And you've got the buoy line lined up for the big turn here, and that's it. Now you're starting to pick up the initial buoys of the buoy line, but as you know, this is a nice, long, sweeping turn, and that's where we are right now. So we've got the buoys just off our port oars, and we're stroking it hard, keeping our pace, keeping our rhythm. Check your split there, right on target with the split. Make sure you're on target, and driving hard as we come around the long, arcing turn. So that just means a little bit more pressure on the left-hand side there as we drive it around the turn. That's the way, that's the way. You can see the boat behind you now. He's taking a little wider turn. You're able to put a little more distance behind you as you take a quick look over your shoulder to make sure you're lining up those buoys. You're doing well. Boat ahead of you now, about 3.5 lengths, and you're closing in slowly. Looks like you might be closing in 1 inch or 2 every stroke. That's exactly what we want. We want to be driving toward that boat every stroke, moving closer to the competition and leaving the boat behind you behind. Really, this is where you've really got to make sure you're staying right on your splits. A lot of boats here will slow down in this stretch. No reason to slow down. Stay on your split, stay right on that target, and driving right ahead. Press it down every stroke, locking on the legs. Think again about those catches. Let's go 5 strokes here just to think about catches. Just 5 strokes, think about those catches on this one now. Locking on every stroke, catching well, nice and solid, right on top of it every single stroke. That's the way. That's it. Good. And as we come off that quick 5 for catches here, we're driving it down, looking at our split time, making sure that our split is right on target and maybe even a little below target here as we come around the turn here, arcing this big turn. Boat ahead of you now, maybe 2.5 lengths ahead of you. You're continuing to close in on the boat ahead of you, but no reason to worry. They're a good distance ahead of you still. They won't be interfering with you at all as you keep those buoys right off that port oar, and you're swinging it solidly and keeping good rhythm now, good rhythm. Solid lower back, solid upper back. Feel the engagement of the lats as you swing back every stroke and pull those arms in for a nice solid finish. Just like we did earlier, we took a quick 5 for catches. Let's do it now. Let's take a quick 5 for finishes. Ready? Okay, on this one, as CBC starts to come into sight of your shoulder, nice 5 here for finishes, really finishing strong every stroke with that solid 5. It's really mainly a rhythm check to make sure that we're locked right on to those 5 for finishes there. And CBC now cleanly in sight as you come around the turn, and you're doing well, arcing the turn right around here, and nice and solid. That's the way. Good. And we're coming up to the tightest part of the turn now. this is where you're going to have to really crank it with that left arm and bring it right around the turn, because this is the apex of the turn. That's it. A couple of short, choppy strokes maybe on the left side to bring it right around. Pulling it tight right in front of CBC. Crowd going a little bit noisy here in the background. You can hear them chanting and screaming as you bring around CBC and you move right ahead there. That's it, right ahead of CBC and lining up Elliott right for a smooth transition right to Elliott there. That's it, getting your point, lining up the Belmont Hill dock so that you can go through the Elliott Arch and the Belmont Hill dock. About 2 lengths now of distance between you and the boat ahead. That's 1 length of open. Boat ahead starting to yield a little bit. They can see that you're coming on strong here as you pass CBC and you're coming up under the bridge now. Here we are coming up under Elliott Bridge, and right under the bridge, okay, a little bit of shadowing from the bridge here, right through it. Boat behind you now fading back a bit. They're about 8 lengths behind you. Boat ahead of you moving off to port, giving you the line you want on the Belmont Hill dock. Terrific job. That boat ahead of you now, he's starting to fade. They can feel the pressure you're putting on. They're taking a power 10 to try and keep you away. No big deal. That's all right. You're going to drive here. Nice solid 10 right now. Move right on that boat. Here we go. On this one with a solid 10. Go. Count it to yourself here. Nice solid 10. That's the way. That's the way. Right on it. Yeah, and the boat ahead of you yielding there, making way, giving you way. As you come in toward the Belmont Hill dock here, you're crossing over the Belmont Hill dock. That's right, nice and tight, the dock and the buoys there right against your starboard oars. And the boat that you were chasing now off to port side, well away from you. They've given you a nice clear line. You're overlapping them now. Drive right through them here. Drive right through them. Keep that rhythm going as you come into the final turn of the race now. Final turn of the race. That's the way. Nice and tight against the starboard side there, but staying away from those trees. No interference with the trees. Keeping it right tight on the starboard side as we come into the final big turn. This final last turn here, keeping it away from your oars, making sure that you've got a tight line, but at the same time, no interference with the oars. Maybe putting your blades right under some of those overhanging trees, but keeping out of the weeds there. That's the way. That's a good line there, right through it. You know you've got less than 500 meters to go now, less than 500 meters to go. Let's really drive on it now. You can do anything for this last little stretch of the race. This last couple hundred meters here, that's the way. That's it. As we come around the final bit of the turn now, probably have about, I'm going to guess maybe 400 meters to go, give or take. Driving those splits down now, you're starting to think about taking the rate up, maybe take it up 1 beat at this point as we line up the finish line. And we'll take it up again as we get closer. We'll do a little bit of a sprint here. Now about 300 meters to go. You've got a straight shot. You finish that turn, straight shot to the finish line now with about 300 meters to go. We put it on here. We're going to do a double bump sprint. Sit ready for it. On this one, let's go up 2 beats here. 2 beats, up 2. That's it. About 15 strokes at this now. Really locking on and driving. Really pressing it down here. We see the finish line. It's right there in sight. Let's really make sure we're moving right toward it now. That's the way. That's the way. Nice and quick. Pick it right off. Maybe go a little bit shorter here and drive it. And now ready to go up 2 for the final 15. Here we go. Ready on my count. 1, 2. Let's go. Up 15 now. Up for the last 15. Last 15 strokes of the race. Really put it on. Nice and quick. Drive it home. Drive it home here, folks. Quick catches. Drive it back. Pressing it down. You're a little bit shorter. The rate is higher. You're jacking the rate up and really pushing on it now. That's the way. That's the way. Keep it quick. Keep it quick. Last few strokes here. Look at the countdown on your erg. You know exactly where you are relative to the line. You've got about those last couple strokes now. Let's put it on. That's it. Maybe a last 5 or so. Last 5 strokes. Here we go. That's it. That's it. Quick and sharp. Quick and sharp. Right to the end. Right to the end of the course. That's it. Press, press, press. Go, go, go. That's it. And here's the finish line. And that's it. Nice job. Terrific work.